We've been studying about Elijah, and you remember that he declared because of Ahab's disobedience to God, there would not be rain till he, Elijah, said so. And God sent him out of the country to a widow woman who took care of him. He rented a room from her for 3 years. At the end of that time, God told him, you need to go back and to see Ahab, and this is what I want you to tell him. So he went back to Israel, and when he was on his way back, he met a man named Obadiah. Now, Obadiah was one of Ahab's chief guys, and he was out looking for grass because it hadn't rained in 3.5 years, and the horses and mules were all in danger of dying. Some evidently already had died, and they were trying to find enough food to keep them alive. So Ahab had said, Obadiah, you go that way and look. I'm going to go this way and look, and maybe, hopefully, we can find something to keep at least some of the animals alive. Well, Elijah found Obadiah, and he said, go tell Ahab I'm going to come see him today. I'm going to meet him up at the top of Mount Carmel. And Obadiah said, yeah, right. What's going to happen is I'm going to go to tell Ahab that, and Ahab will get all excited because he's been trying to find you to kill you. So he's going to get all enthused that he's going to see you and get to kill you, and you're not going to show up. God's going to take you somewhere, and you won't be there. And haven't you heard that I hid prophets of God from Ahab in order to preserve their lives, and I took care of them hidden? And why are you doing this to me? Elijah said, no. God has told me I need to talk to Ahab today. So Obadiah went and got Ahab. They all met at the top of Mount Carmel. And Elijah had told them to gather up all the prophets of Baal. Now, Baal was the leading god of one of the neighbor countries. He was the false god that Ahab worshipped. Ahab worshipped it because he had married the princess from the neighboring country named Jezebel. And she had made Ahab worship Baal, the false god. So there were 450 prophets of Baal there. And Elijah, in the morning, got up and he said, okay, Israel, you say you worship the Lord, but you're actually worshiping Baal. Let's quit this. You need to pick one or the other. If Baal is really God, worship him. If the Lord is really God, worship him. Don't quit this nonsense of trying to do both. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a contest, and we're going to see which God is the real God. So all of you prophets of Baal, you pick one of these oxen here, and you sacrifice it on your altar, and you call for your God. I'll take whichever one that you don't pick, and I'll sacrifice it to my God, and whichever God answers with fire is the real God. So that seems reasonable. So Elijah said, you guys can go first, because there's a lot of you, so you can go first. So they picked an ox, they sacrificed it on an altar they built there, and they called to Baal. And nothing happened. And they called. And they called. They called, so they began to cut themselves to try and get Baal's attention. Elijah, sometime after noon, Elijah began to tease him. He said, you know what, you need to call louder, he's asleep. Or maybe he went on vacation and he can't hear you, so call louder. Well, Baal never answered. So about the time of the evening sacrifice that God had ordained in the time of Moses, Elijah said, okay, that's enough. My turn. So there had been an altar for God there in time past. So Elijah rebuilt that altar using 12 stones, one for each tribe of Israel. And he dug a trench around the altar. And he laid the wood on it. He sacrificed the ox and put it on it. Then he said, you know what else I want for my sacrifice? I want water. He poured water all over the ox, all over the wood. He poured so much water, it filled up the trench around the altar. And then he said, God, you're the real one. Fire fell from heaven, and it burned up the ox, and it burned up the wood, and it burned up the water on the ox, and the wood, and the stones, and the water in the trench around the altar. You think he meant it? After this, Elijah went and he prayed, and he said, he sent his servant, go look at the ocean. And his servant came back and said, it's an ocean. He said, go look again. The seventh time he sent the servant to look at the ocean, the servant said, oh, I see a teeny tiny cloud out there. Elijah said, go tell Ahab he better get home fast or he's not going to make it because of the rain. And it rained. It rained a lot. And the country began to grow again because it had rain, so it had plants to grow again. So God proved his power. He proved he is the real God. There was no Baal to answer the prophets of Baal. There was only the true God. And that's the God we worship today. Elijah's God is our God. Let's sing a song. From glory to glory, he's changing me. He's changing me. He's changing me. His likeness and image to perfect in me. The love of God shown to the world. For he's changing, changing me from earthly things to the heavenly. His likeness and image to perfect in me. The love of God shown to